Recently, I've been posting some pictures on my social media channels about banchan or side dishes that I've been making at home, and I've had some people ask me about eomuk or fried fish cake. So today I'm going to share with you my recipe for eomuktang or fish cake soup. The key to this recipe is in the broth. So the broth requires a little bit of effort, but once you get that right, everything else is really easy. This is half a stalk of green onion, and make sure that you use this bottom part of the stalk, which is the white end. Next, we need half an onion. I'm also using 2 dried shiitake mushrooms. If you can't find the dried ones, you can use fresh ones, but try to use the dried ones because it creates a way more aromatic broth. I'm also using some radish. I'm going to cut it into slices that are around 2 centimeters thick. We need around 5 slices. Radish is in season in winter. When you choose radish, choose one that has a good green end. This green part is the sweetest part, so it's going to add a natural sweetness when you make broth. I'm going to use dashima, which is dried kelp, anchovies or 멸치. So 2 pieces of kelp and maybe 4 or 5 anchovies depending on the size. When you buy the anchovies, make sure that you buy the pack that says 국물용 because that's the one that we use when we make broths and soups. In Korea, we have different types of anchovies for making broth, stir fries, and for boiling down in soy sauce. So make sure that you choose the correct one. You need to open them up and remove the black stuff that's on the inside. That's 멸치똥 or the organs. Let me show you. So remove the head and open it in half. And you'll find this black stuff on the inside. You need to get rid of that. If you don't remove that, it's going to create a bitter taste to the broth. Oh, this one's got a lot of organs on the inside. If you don't get rid of this stuff, it's like, you're eating anchovy poo. So definitely open them up and get rid of this. Place the kelp and the anchovies into this, which is called the dashibeg. And you can buy these at the supermarket. And basically they're like tea bags. So you can put the ingredients for your broth inside. So I filled a pot with water, and this is around 1 liter, and I'm going to add the vegetables and our dry ingredients to this and boil it. Once it boils, leave it on high heat to boil for another 3 minutes. As it boils, you'll notice this white froth build up on the surface, and we're just going to remove that because it makes the soup taste much cleaner. After 3 minutes, we're going to remove the kelp and the anchovies, and now turn down the heat to medium-low and let the vegetables boil for another 15 minutes. While that's boiling, let's prepare the ingredients that are going to go into the broth. This is the eomuk or fried fish cakes, and I've bought an assorted pack so you get some different shapes. This is the one that I like to use when I make soup. So I'm going to cut some of these and put them directly into the broth. Some of them I'm going to put on skewers. There's no rule to how you place these. You can place them in any size, shape and order that you like. Personally, I like these wavy ones. This time we're going to use the green part to add a little bit of color to our soup. This is called sukkat or crown daisies. We often use this when we make soups and stews because it creates a gentle herbal fragrance. If you can buy it, use it. Otherwise, just add a little more green onions. It's been 15 minutes, so I'm going to remove the heat and take the vegetables out of the broth. And actually, I'm going to save the radish and throw everything else away. The rest of these vegetables are just going to go into the bin. The broth is boiled down, so you probably have about 2/3 of the liquid that you began with. Now it's time to boost the flavor and turn the broth into soup. I have half a tablespoon of regular soy sauce and half a tablespoon of 국간장 or Korean soy sauce. This is the one that we use when we make soup, but if you don't have it, just use 1 tablespoon of the regular soy sauce. If you're wondering what the difference is, the regular soy sauce creates a sweetness and the 국간장 or Korean soy sauce creates a saltiness. Next, add 2 tablespoons of mirin, sake, soju, whatever you have. Then add half a tablespoon of minced garlic. This is the radish that we boiled earlier, and I've cut it up into quarters now, and I'm adding some of this back into the pot. You don't need to use all, just as much as you like. Arrange the fish cakes into the pot, and you may need to push the fish cakes down a little bit so that they soak into the broth. Now followed by the green onions and some freshly cracked pepper. If you want your soup to be a little bit spicy, you could add 청양 peppers or red pepper powder or 고춧가루. I'm turning the stove back on to medium-high heat and boil it until the fish cakes are cooked. This is going to take around 5 to 8 minutes depending on your stove. I think it's almost done, so I'm going to add some boiled egg on top. This is just personal preference, so if you like eggs, do it. And for the final touch, I'm going to add some crown daisies and leave that for another minute or so until the crown daisies start to go limp. Wow, this looks and smells fantastic. Seriously, if you're sick of making the same soups all the time and you want something a little different, you should try making this. So let me taste it. I'm going to put a little in my serving bowl, some soup, a little bit of radish, a skewer. Like I said, I like the wavy ones, so I'm going to try that first. And some of the crown daisy. If you use the crown daisies, you don't want to overcook it. Make sure that you turn the stove off as soon as it starts going limp. This soup is like the perfect balance of sweet and salty. Like, you get this natural salty taste which comes from the kelp and the anchovies, and because we use that little bit of garlic, it balances out so you don't get a fishy taste. The radish is so soft and so sweet. We didn't add any sugar to this, but like I told you, radish is in season at the moment, so it's really, really sweet. The fish cakes are cooked just right so that they still remain really elastic. Omuk or fish cakes are made with around 60% of fish and the rest is mainly flour. So if you overcook it, it's going to end up tasting more like dough than fish. Make sure that you don't overcook them. Odaengtang or fish cake soup is actually the perfect complement to Korean soju. Like, you'll see this being served at Korean tent bars in winter. Perfect. This soup and soju has really warmed me up and cheered me up. Seriously, this soup is too good to waste, guys. So after you finish the fish cakes, if you've got soup left over, add some noodles like udon and then you can have a complete meal. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me a comment. If you've got any questions about Korean food or food in Seoul, please ask me. I'm always open to new questions and new ideas. So I hope to see you again next time. Bye! 다음에 또 만나요.